Greetings, beautiful humans. Welcome to the Voice of Hope Connection special Mother's Day edition. I'm your host, V, and I am so grateful that you have decided to join us. And I've got a real treat for you. I've got Mother's Day, and it's going to be from 4 different perspectives. So we're going to see different clips of different individuals talking about Mother's Day. And I got it from several different views because I really wanted to see how people viewed Mother's Day, because we see it as mothers get flowers and it's a big day and you can't get in the stores, you can't get reservations, you have to plan ahead. Mother's Day is a big day, and that's for a lot of mothers. Mother's Day is also a sad day. That can be for people who've lost their mothers. Mother's Day can be an indifferent day. That could be for a person who's never really had a mother. And Mother's Day can be a day that's, well, yeah, I'm a mother, but it's hard being that mother. It's been hard being that mother. It can be that day that my kids don't even think of me as a mother. So it can be a lot of different things. So we're going to see it from 4 different perspectives. And I'm grateful that you're here. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Voice of Hope Connection at wakeupglobaltv.com. Thank you. So I'm going to get this started. So we are back. And I am here with my 2 daughters, who are both mothers. So that's Nikisha, and she's always ready for the camera. And that's Shauna. Shauna gets ready for the camera. Now, what I have to say about my daughters is when they were growing up, the way you see them is Nikki was always laid back, Shauna was always busy. And it seems to have shifted, but today, Nikki's the calm one and Sean is the busy one again. So I just want to talk to these 2 young ladies about motherhood and how they view motherhood, versus how I raised them. So Nikisha, say hello. This is my oldest.
Hello.
And Shauna is my youngest.
Hello.
So I'm going to start with a few questions. And first, I want to thank you both for being here and helping me out with this. So,
Thanks for having us.
So my first question is, as a mother, what is the most important thing that you want to instill or have instilled in your children?
To be themselves.
To be themselves.
To not deny themselves their personality to shrink to fit in with anyone. I want them to express themselves through clothing, music, whatever, and not be ashamed of it.
Yeah. Okay, Nikisha.
Mine is similar. However, I feel like I learned it first from them that it's okay to be yourself. And then I was free enough and seeing them understand that. So it's kind of like they taught me, and then it helped me to want to be that way and teach them and others that it's okay as well. Give them my stamp of approval, because I feel like we all want our mother's stamp of approval more than anything.
We all do want our mother's stamp of approval.
And
So,
look, this is real life. And
hey,
my
and
cousin is calling, so Shauna, can we kind of like blank that out a little bit? Yeah, he was like, this.
so as you can see, this is live. And when things are live things happen. Life be lifing and phones be ringing and people be peopling.
And humans be humaning.
Yeah, so all right now, back to the interview. So, you both said that it was so important for the children to be their authentic selves. When you were growing up, did you find that you could be your authentic self, or did you struggle with that?
I struggled. Um, I struggled because I didn't realize that in some instances I was being myself, but I was thinking that I was kind of following the trends. And so, no, I tried to, what I thought was fit in, especially as a young person. Absolutely. It was a different time. It was smart to be done back then.
Wow, yeah.
I'm still struggling
I
That's
today.
good too. I like that.
like that.
Today,
'Cause,
yeah. Accepting it, you have to get to a point. That's why I want my children to accept themselves and their personality early, because I don't want them to go through life in stages and crucial points and periods and denying themselves and struggling internally and not realizing that that's what they're doing because they're trying to fit into a mold that wasn't made for them. And they're losing themselves and trying to keep up and not knowing who to be, and I guess dealing with people that just don't accept them because they want to fit into the mold. But it's lonely out there, so you have to encourage your children to stay authentic to themselves, despite what the world is going to offer them.
And get to know themselves. Get to know themselves. That's something that I didn't think. It was so important to get to know them. You gotta figure out who he is, she is. But it wasn't about, girl, find out who you are. So that's another thing that I have really, and I believe even in our family, just that's been something that is very important. Now it's time to get to know you.
Yeah, that is important. And as parents, we struggle, As a parent with you all, I wanted you to be perfect. I didn't want you to have to go through anything that I went through. And so I know sometimes I could be harsh with you. And being harsh with you, a lot of times I look back and I wish I would have known how to do it better. I didn't. I wanted the best for you. But intent versus impact, I intended for you to be the best that you could be. But I impacted you by saying you're not good enough, and how did that land for you guys?
I never felt that way. You never treated me in a way that made me feel like I wasn't good enough. You treated me in a way that let me know I was better than the things that I was doing. You never made me feel like you never put me down. You stated facts. If I did something wrong and we talked about it, or you got on me about it, because that's what mothers do when you discipline me. You stated facts and you disciplined me about it. You said how you felt about it because it affected you in some kind of way, of course. So that was the exchange back then. But that's something that we've just learned. It was a pattern that this is how you handle this situation. Just like with TV, it tells you when a man breaks your heart, you need to cut up his clothes or bust his window. Like, these are prompts that people are given and they take it. And that's why I want my children to know to be themselves, to know that you don't have to take these instructions from the world. The thoughts that you think and the way that you perceive things and respond to things is unique to you. It doesn't have to be what the world or what the norm or what everybody else would say should happen in this instance. Like the conforming. That personality sums up, I never want them to conform. Don't conform.
Yeah.
Because you struggle and you get lost and you lose yourself and you lose sight of your true path. And that's why you don't catch it until you get 40 and 50 and 60 sometimes, because you finally taken the glasses off and been able to sit down and said, none of this ever mattered. But you were so worried about it because the world and social media and TV and propaganda is telling you that this is what's supposed to be the focus right now. This is what you need to be doing. This is what we're doing. This is what, get with it. And a lot of people succumb to that because they don't have any sense of self, because they were told that this is what we're doing and this is what you're doing.
That is so eye-opening for us because we are so used to following trends. And it's like in this season, this Mother's Day, mothers are waking up. Mothers are beginning to say, hey, my children are who they are. I accept them. And I'm going to affirm them so that when they step out, they know. And it has to start with a generational shift. It has to start with a generational shift. And I'm watching the generational shift within my own family with my own daughters. And I'm watching as you all raise my grandchildren. And I'm just watching the two of you navigate. And then I think back when you were little and not ever thinking that you would ever be somebody's mother. You know, just because when you get your children, they start growing up, you know, you grow in stages. And there was the stage where, oh, I loved you all. There was the stage where you got on my daggone nerves. There was the stage where we were getting to know each other. There was the stage where we didn't like each other. That was a long stage. My children have always...
We have very, very different lives. Even though we're sisters, we live separate lives. Trust. I didn't get to answer that question that Mommy asked her. Not that she ever put me down, but...
No, how did it make you feel?
Sometimes I, because of my mother and I are very opposite, but very, I don't know, we're alike, but we're not. And so my idea of what I thought was important and hers was different. So I told myself that I wasn't good enough because it was like we opposed. It was kind of a, she wanted me to go left, I wanted to go right. And so I'm like, oh yeah, I can't please her. And so, oh well, never will. And so it's just interesting, and I'm glad to hear that my sister felt that way. Because again, at the end of it, I know my mother never wanted me to feel and knew that I was so wonderful. She knew that. I did too, but she really did know that. It's just that the way we expressed was different. So I'm glad to hear that Shauna had that different experience, because even if it's you telling yourself you're not good enough, or mommy thinks you're not good enough, it still gives the same impact. So that's my thing. I know that my mother, she always told me, girl, you smart. But I'll be thinking, not like she want me to be. So yeah, that's my side.
Okay. And I'm glad that you're talking about how this impacted you. Because you know what, mothers? Sometimes we got to step back. We got to hear what our children have to say. And then we got to repair it. We got to heal it. We're humans. We mess up. We make big mistakes. We still mess up. It's okay that we mess up. You know, that's why we talk about it. That's why we're open about it. That's why we repair it. Mothers, repair it with your daughters. Daughters, repair it with your mothers.
Always, yes.
Repair it. Because just because I'm a mother doesn't necessarily mean I'm wonderful. And so before we part, I want to ask one more question. What advice would you give a young mother today? What advice would you give her?
Put that child to bed at about 8 o'clock.
Well, because they're young, I'm just going to give you still some future advice. Just remember that in the same way, and you'll learn as you go along in motherhood, that you are a mother, but you're also a woman. And women have women issues just as well as mother issues. So give your mother grace, young mother. give your mother grace because she's a woman too.
Putting the kids to bed at 8 This had, when you put your children to bed at 8 o'clock, you get to have intimate time alone with yourself for at least 2 to 3 hours. And it's very important that you nurture yourself.
Absolutely.
And they have that boundary and that bedtime set so that you have your time set for you, because you will get lost. And making sure the clothes are ready for the next day, or lunch, or bus fare, or whatever else, or doctor's appointments, or finding these documents. And all of those things do happen daily, regularly. I keep them in the car because you're not going to catch me slipping. But with all of that being said, you have to allow yourself time. And if you and your baby hanging up at 10, 11 o'clock at night, looking at each other laughing, what have you done for yourself? And you owe it to
Self-care.
give yourself
Yes.
that care, that time.
Amen.
That even if you're just doing nothing but being still and just being in the moment, it's important because it recharges you to be able to show up fully for the child in the next moment, the next day, the next week. You have to set boundaries with your children for your own mental health, wellness, and your benefit.
Well,
Great advice. Great advice.
thank you. Thank you both for your time. Thank you for this interview. I am so grateful. Have a great day. Thank you, everybody, for hanging in there. Peace.